All right, hey, the uh, the floor is your guys's to share and encourage and um, just do that. And so Maddie just whispered to me, "I'll kick it off." And so the candy cane princess is no, I don't know.
Don't look at me
She
like
gave
that,
you
please.
candy canes when you came in.
Anybody not get a candy cane that wants a candy cane? I have like 5 left. Like, seriously, y'all. Y'all, I bought like 60 of these. Please somebody take these candy canes.
I'll tell you what, man.
Alright, bet. Pass it on down. I got 5 in my hands. Pass them all around. Alright. Hello? My name is Maddie, if you don't know who I am. I lead worship here all the time. I got a few things that I'm going to talk about. Just 3 things, really. So, yeah. Let's dive into it. Grace. Right? My good friend Whitney looked at me a few weeks ago and she handed me a card. And inside of it had a bracelet and it said the word Grace on it. If you don't know me, my middle name is Grace. And I sat there and I was like, huh. That's always been a weird thing for me. My middle name, right? Because I always, like, my full name is Madeline. Madeline's not me. I'm Maddie Grace, right? So I was sitting and talking with Morgan. We're talking about what the word grace means. Grace does not always equal forgiveness. Grace is important for ourselves, other people around us, and everything around us. Grace is important for you and your mental health. Take care of your brain and take care of yourself during stressful times. And that is a lesson. This is stupid. I've been learning this semester. I've been learning that big time this semester. We are God's creations and He is gentle with us. So we need to acknowledge that and be gentle with ourselves and show grace to ourselves too. Grace is a part of God's character. When we talk about grace, it's often associated with the word forgiveness. But in my opinion, those are 2 very different words. Forgiveness is clear water and clear hearts. Nothing is left. All is good to go. Grace is when the water is muddy, but you're still willing to walk through that mud and meet that person where they're at. That is grace. Even in the mud, you're willing to get a little bit dirty and go in there and meet them where they're at. That leads me to my next spot, because sometimes in that mud and in that grace, there can be a season of loneliness. This can appear even when surrounded by the people around you. You can be lonely and have as many friends as you want in the world. But y'all, listen, let me tell you, with loneliness, therapy is so freaking good. That's a new lesson for me as well. After 20 years of life, I'm finally looking into this and it's starting to help me with my loneliness. You are worth the deeper inner work. Whether that's therapy, stillness with God, prayer with God. Go sit on a mountain. This is what I do. Go sit on a mountain, bring your Bible out there, and just cry. It works, let me tell y'all. But even in loneliness, we can still behold the works and the grace God has in store for us. Which brings me to my last word. Behold the power of the underminer. Nobody got it. Fantastic. Incredibles, guys, come on!
I get it.
Thank you.
Just took him a minute.
Even in the hard seasons, the feeling of loneliness, the thought of grace, these are still emotions and ideas to behold and sometimes sit inside of and learn from. There are ways to sit in loneliness correctly. There are ways to behold loneliness. There are ways to behold grace. You have to acknowledge your story and what matters about your story, which is every little part, and know that God will meet you there, and that is something to behold. Last week I had to drive to drill. If you don't know, I'm in the military. I drive to drill once a month. It's really dumb. I go all the way to the 757. Go you if you're from there, I guess. I'm not from there, so no woo. And as I'm driving, I start to panic. And I've had this issue before. I ended up stranded in Hampton because of these panic attacks. And so as I'm driving, I'm calling my friend who I'm staying with, and I'm like, yo, dude, listen, I am like about to just stop in the middle of Charlottesville. I'm panicked. I cannot continue to drive on 64. And she's like, yo, Maddie, have you prayed yet? And I'm like, wait a second, I have not. So I'm in the middle of a Chick-fil-A, right? I go and get my sad nuggets when I'm sad. I go get back in my car and I start to pray. Why did I do this to myself? And as I begin to pray, I turn on my Holy Hits playlist. If you don't know it, you should check it out. It's pretty great. But the first song that comes on is Fear Is Not My Future. And within Typical Maddie way. I'm gonna quote a song lyric. Who knew? In fear is not my future, the bridge. Fear is not my future, you are. Sickness is not my story. You are. Right? And so this I don't want to call it a sickness because it's not a sickness. It's part of me, right? It's part of me. But this sickness, as deemed by society, is plaguing me. But that's not my story. God is. And that is something to behold. You can look for sermons through this, or you can look from truth from God. And that is something to behold. His word, his power. Fear is not my future. You are. Sickness is not my story. You are. Death is not the end. You are. That's all I got. Somebody else teach you those options.
Skip this issue. Well, hi everyone. I'm Sarah. I've been squatting here for an awfully long time now. And this is our last fall take 5.
Stop!
But I'd really like to share something that I feel like God's been teaching me this semester, and honestly every semester so far. It's literally the worst. I've been like repeating a grade over and over and over again because I can't learn my lesson. And this semester I just feel like God's been teaching me really loudly. But I'm a terrible waiter. I am so incredibly impatient. If you've ever been in the car with me for more than 10 seconds at a light, you could probably like attest to how impatient I am. But God's been teaching me for a while now how to wait patiently. And yeah, it's been really loud this semester. Have you ever read the Bible and come across a story that you just feel very, very called out by? It's so not cool. And I've had the honor and privilege to co-lead a Bible study this semester, Wednesday night represent. And so more than once now, I've been preparing content and have just felt so called out. But we started in Genesis, and so there's 2 different stories in Genesis that I'd read as a freshman, and I was like, man, like this is cool. But going back as a senior now, it was like I was reading it all over again for the first time with a new set of eyes. It's the story of Sarah and Hagar and Rachel and Leah. And if you don't know their stories, you should read it. And honestly, you should read all of Genesis because it's crazy. But Sarah is the wife to Abraham, and they're picked big time for God's team. And God makes some big promises to them. One of them being that Abraham, is going to be so fruitful and have a ton of descendants. And they're like, okay, like that's really great. And so some family drama goes by, time passes, and Sarah is struggling to conceive. And it's been years since God made his promise to her. And at this point, they're starting to get frustrated because honestly, same. So enter Sarah's servant, Hagar. And so Sarah wants nothing more than to have a kid. She so badly just wants a child. But also, she feels a lot of pressure to fulfill God's like prophecy and promise to them. And so out of desperation, she tells her husband to sleep with my servant, and the 2 of them have a child together. And so more family drama goes down. It gets heated between Sarah and Hagar. But to cut to the chase, God takes care of Hagar and her son. He uses her in her story, even though it wasn't part of his original plan. But also, he comes through and he gives Sarah and Abraham a child. And so a little later on in Genesis, enter Rachel and Leah. To give you the gist, they're 2 sisters, and one is so beautiful, and one has weary eyes and looks like an ugly cow. And that's not just my colorful commentary, it's real. But they're both Jacob's wives, and yes, they're married to the same person. It's a weird dynamic. Mistakes happen. Don't worry about it too much. But the ugly sister is less loved by her husband, and so she has a ton of kids. And culturally, this is like a huge, big deal. And the beautiful one, who is his favorite, is struggling to conceive. Now, poor Rachel, if you have a sibling and your sibling is getting something that you want so badly and you just can't get it, dude, it sucks. If you have a sister and your sister's getting something that you can't have, it's so hard. And so she's going through this. She's wondering, why not me? What's wrong with me? Why is my sister having all these kids and I can't? And long story long, Leah and Jacob are like rabbits, like cranking out kids. And Rachel just has like no offsprings. So years go by, she's impatiently waiting, so she decides to take things into her own hands, and she like really mucks things up. She sends her servant to sleep with her husband. I know, deja vu. Her sister sends her servant to sleep with her husband. It's like the great baby race to see who can have more kids. You should really read Genesis. But finally, like years and years of waiting, God fulfills his promise to Rachel, and she has an offspring. And both these stories really resonated with me, and I felt very seen by them because I've been there. Not the husband and the servant sleeping together thing, in the waiting and the starting to use faith and trust thing. I've been bitter and jealous and trying to do things my way. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a terrible waiter. I'm so impatient, and there's at least 5 people in this room who can tell you that. But I'm not sharing any of this because I'm done waiting. I'm still very much waiting. I also haven't mastered it. I've done a bad job this semester, this month, this week. But I also know how lonely it is and how hard it can be and frustrating when you feel like God's not listening. My question to our Wednesday group was, what are you impatiently waiting for? And they really hated that question. And I'm sure a lot of people in this room are also waiting for something. And I don't have to list examples of things that you might be waiting for, because if you're waiting for something, you know exactly what that thing is. But I really want to tell you that God's people weren't perfect at waiting, and so we don't have to be either. And I hope by sharing this, you don't have to repeat the same lesson that I've been repeating over and over again. Oh good, I'm not scrolling through my notes anymore. But if you're waiting, I hope you can be honest and authentic with yourself and the people closest to you. I hope that you can bring them into the waiting with you and tell them about your good days, but also your bad days and your hard days. You don't have to make waiting look easy, and you can be honest about it. And I promise bringing just one person into the waiting with you will make it less lonely. Please don't mind my notes app crashing. Because I just love being up here so much.
It's okay, just wait patiently, it'll come back.
I'm popcorning to you next. Yeah. You don't have to make waiting look easy. You can be honest about it, and bringing people in will make it less lonely. If you're not waiting for something for yourself, but you're walking through it with someone else, know that sometimes there's nothing that you can do to make it better other than reassuring them that it's coming and remembering God's character. And lastly, I just want to tell you that God's still there even in the waiting. Even if you're struggling to believe it, keep telling yourself truths about God and his character. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's not from God. He's not forgotten about you in this season of waiting. He hears you, he sees you, and he cares for you. He uses every single season with purpose, and it's preparing you for his promises. And our God is a God that fulfills his promises, and he does it abundantly. If you don't know who to bring in and share your waiting with, I'd really love to be that person for you. Next semester we can get coffee, and I'd love to hear what you're waiting for, and I'll tell you about all the things that I'm waiting for. And as I was writing this a few days ago, of course, my Bible app said it's time for the verse of the day. And it was really annoying because it was Psalms 130, verse 5. And it says, I wait for the Lord, my whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope. So with that, beat me if you want to reach me.
I'm going to go next so I can enjoy the rest of these. So kind of like similar to what Sarah was talking about, I want to share about what like honesty can look like in community and vulnerability and what it can look like to be known. And part of that could be sharing your story of waiting or just like what's hard for you with the people around you. So when I first started coming to CCBT, I was welcomed with a hug from Mike and Morgan every time I would walk into the door. And I was given a seat at the table. I felt very loved, and it seemed like just a place that I've been looking for. However, there were many times that I would still leave and feel this sense of loneliness that seemed unjustified, as I had met so many lovely new friends and was surrounded by such loving people. My attendance in CCBT was very frequent, but I've learned you can be surrounded by a room full of people and still feel lonely, like Sarah said. And you can feel loved but not really known. My conversations with people were very surface level, and I was coming into a Thursday night with all the, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. When honestly, sometimes I was not, in fact, good. But I was like not willing to share that. And so I remember how scary weekly Bible studies felt for me because like highs, lows, and awkwards or prayer requests would come around to me, and I didn't know how much to share. I didn't know, like, I was just keeping up a version of myself that seemingly didn't have needs. And I would quickly request just like prayers for school or adjusting. And while those are very valid requests, it just like, I wasn't saying what I meant, and I wasn't saying much about how I actually felt. And I found that I would still leave and feel not really understood or seen because of the things that I didn't share. So after my first semester of this, I was feeling like exhausted by the way that I was showing up and putting on a face. And it took time, but I decided that I wanted to start showing up with more honesty about the things that felt hard and how I was really doing. And so that was small at first, like sharing an extra story at Bible study or a more vulnerable prayer request. And I met weekly with a few people and made an effort to go deeper and ask and answer more intentional questions. And that doesn't mean that the people could fix anything for me, like that felt hard, but even just letting someone hold it with me and sharing the burden felt like a weight off my shoulders, even if the weight was just not having to pretend. Galatians 6:2 says to carry each other's burdens, but it's really hard to do that if we don't share what the burdens are. Letting myself be known gave others the ability to show up for me in better, intentional, specific ways and to speak into the fears that they know I had, and for me to do the same for them. The more I showed up as myself, the stronger my friendships grew, and I also noticed a return in their authenticity. Sometimes you have to be willing to go first, and with practice, I got better at becoming honest with my little circle of people and asking good questions to know them better too. I started to leave the campus house feeling a little more seen, a little more understood, and because of that, a little more loved. One of my dearest friends always says, "I love you and I like you," and while I've always felt loved in this place, because that's what this place is, that is the piece that I felt like was missing initially. Allowing people to know you feels risky, and I can't promise that it will always be safe. But I can say that the friendships that I have felt the most safe and cared for are the ones where I've shown up with my shortcomings and struggles and still been shown love. So if you feel like you're in that first category, where maybe you feel loved but not really known, let me encourage you that it will come out of the days of showing up. Show up happy, but also show up when you've had a rough day, and share that with someone. Next time you're asked how you are, give an honest answer. This takes discernment, so maybe not the Starbucks barista, but somebody in this room, definitely tell them how you're doing. I've showed up to meetings with trusted friends with tears on my face and ugly cried on the floor in the office. I've expressed my needs to people and seen them show up in practical and thoughtful ways, and I felt the care and hugs from people who know what is hard for me. It's a different feeling to walk into a room and have someone be able to tell if something is wrong with one look at you, and have people that know you so well that you can't go unnoticed. Sometimes when you share, you're even met with an unexpected "me too." The grace that comes from these things is freeing and has brought so much depth to my friendships. The way that this has been modeled with my friendships here has also brought my attention to the way that the Lord loves and knows us. Growing up a Christian, I've heard that God loves me all of my life. I think that there is a risk of familiarity in this phrase, true as it is, when I forget what that means and what else the Bible tells us about God's feelings for his children. Galatians 4:9 tells us that we are loved by God, but it also tells us that we are known by him. Zephaniah 3:17 says that he delights in us. Translation, he likes us. The Bible tells us that we are no longer slaves of the law, but friends of God. And to me, this feels like an invitation to lay down our perfect, polished presentation and come to God as we would a friend, with honesty and brokenness. He knows us and loves us despite whatever flaws we see in ourselves and the things we think disqualify us from being liked. The community I found here at college has been beautiful, but it can't replace the safe and vulnerable relationship God invites us to have with him. He is patient with us when it takes time to be honest with him, and though he knows it all already, there is a depth and a peace that comes from forming words to God about the mess in our minds and knowing that he loves us, messy minds included. There is risk in being fully known, but the Lord puts that risk to rest with grace, love, and care he holds for each of us. So really, I just hope this is an encouragement to you to just be honest with your people and come with vulnerability and authenticity. And it might take time, but just investing in this community in that way and showing up as you, because we want to know you and we love you. That's it.
What's up? I'm Amanda. If you don't know I originally that's my roommate. I originally wasn't planning on sharing at all, and then what Whitney said kind of just hit me like a wall, and so I figured I'd talk. Basically, just I feel like my experience of my first, finishing up my first semester at Tech is an exact example of what Whitney just said. A while back, Morgan shared a prayer from a book, and she's kind of cool like that with the book she has. But it said, the prayer was, God, show up, show up, show up, and teach me to do the same. And countless times, I found myself praying that prayer this semester. And just sitting here and listening to everyone speak and listening to Whitney talk about what her, when she first got here, what it was like, it kind of made me think about, what I was like when I first got here. My first couple weeks of college, showing up, and I remember thinking I had to come all put together when all I did was miss home, and I was homesick, and I was adjusting, and I felt lonely and scared and did not know what was going on. And I remember feeling like, okay, I'm going to show up to that Tuesday Bible study because, I want to try to find community and praying, God, like, help me find community. Whether it's at CCBT or any of the other campus ministries, help me find community and help me to know that I'm where I'm supposed to be and where you want me. I remember showing up to that, like, one of the first Tuesday nights, and I'm trying to hold it together, and I just can't, y'all. Like, at one point, we said, some prayers or something, and I just I lose it. I'm starting to bawl my eyes out. And then all of the other freshmen start to bawl our eyes out because we're all experiencing the exact same thing. And then the seniors start to bawl their eyes out because they remember being like us. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is you might feel alone, but what you're going through, I promise you, someone in this room, probably multiple people in this room, are feeling or have felt the exact same thing, and we're here for you. And so I would just say, show up. If you're new here, if you've only come a couple times, I would say keep showing up, and you're going to find the biggest blessing, one of the biggest blessings God has for you. I came into tech not even being able to fathom the quality and the amount of relationships and friendships that I've developed, and how welcome I felt just by some of the lovely ladies of CCBT, and some of the guys here are pretty cool too. But growing up, I never had, I was one of the boys. And at my home church, it was mostly guys, and then there was 3 of us girls. And we're all tomboys, so it's we're just one of the guys, and never had, women pouring into me, and, a group of girls. And I honestly, never really enjoyed that setting until I got here, and I found so many amazing ladies who have poured into me, and I've been able to, create really cool friendships with, and have been amazing role models. And so if you need a place, always show up. Show up here. It's a great place to be.
Hey everybody, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. It's been great so far. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. You don't need to record this specifically, Mike.
I'm just taking pictures.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Morgan told me less ceiling.
No, yeah, less ceiling's
So
a
we're
good
doing
thing.
great. Yeah.
But, so I don't have anything super deep or insightful to say. I think I said a lot of that last week. But what I did want to do is mention how impactful community has been on my growth as a man and as a Christian. And so in that same sense, a few weeks ago I was talking to Jack Slaughter. And we're talking about the Bible, and how for what I claim to be the guiding document of my life, I know so incredibly little of it, and what I have read, I just don't understand very well. So me and him were talking about how we could encourage each other and grow in our knowledge of the Bible and of the faith, and what we decided is we should get as many other people in on this as possible. So what we're going to start doing January 1st is we're reading through the entire Bible, 1 chapter a day, every day, no breaks. It's going to be 2.5 years. This is going to be a long process. What we want to do is we have a group chat now, which by all means feel free to scan if you're interested in it. Yeah. You guys need to step up the game for next time. You don't have to, but you can if you want to, which I know you do. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have this group chat where every week we're going to go through and we're going to say, first week we're going to be reading Genesis 1 through 7. Me and Jack will give a little intro into what it's about. This is a space where you can feel free to come alongside each other and knowledge. If you have any questions or difficulties, feel free to, at any point, ask a question. It's not intended to be any pressure. There's no commitment. You can hop in and out of it as you please. And most significantly is invite anybody you want. It can be parents. I think we're gonna drop the link in the alumni group chat at some point. We just want as many other people in on this as possible. And we would love to see you guys through that. And that's all I have. Hope you guys have a nice break. Yeah, no, that was a joke. She tried to trip me.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hello, I'm Jeremy. I just want to talk about 2 things, which is 1, overcoming things, and 2, love. So first to talk about love. obviously love is something that everybody hears all the time, like love, love, love. It's like the moral to every story. But I feel like God spoke to me about what love really means as a Christian this year, through like the way that people have treated me, and the way that I've seen people have had impacts on others with the way they love others. And so what love really means to me is like, first of all, like unconditional love. Because I know I always had the biggest impacts when I felt totally undeserving of love. Like if I had been arrogant, or if I had been like really broken, or like emotionally unstable or something like that. It was those moments when people showed love, when I totally shouldn't have had love. That was when I felt it the most, and I felt like God was using them. So that like happened in high school. It happened like here, obviously, with like Mike and Brandon, because they just have overflowing love. But then also love is about like, it's also like sacrificial too. It's not just like, how much can I just give out before like it's too much and I can't do anymore. It's like, love is about like, you know, going the extra mile. Because like Jesus says, if somebody has love, they'll go, if somebody asks them to go with them 1 mile, they'll go with them 2 miles. Or if somebody asks for your coat, you give them your shirt as well. And those are like metaphors, like we have to go beyond. Otherwise, we're just like the world. We're just like, oh, I'm doing this just because it's a good thing to do. But we have Jesus' love. So we know that we don't deserve any of the grace that Jesus gave us. Yet he still loved us. So therefore, we should love others. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is overcoming things, because I'm sure everybody in this room has at some point felt like something wasn't for them, or so they couldn't overcome something, or they just weren't good enough. It was for the other person down the street that is always successful. And the truth is, everybody faces those times when they feel like they cannot overcome. And the people that do overcome, sometimes they're naturally gifted, and that's just the thing, right? But the people that actually get places is actually the people that face things that they think they can't overcome, and they try it anyways. And they have the courage to try. And courage, really, the way I define it, is willingness to fail. Like, so many times I felt like I wasn't good enough, or like something was for somebody else, or I just like didn't have the DNA or something. But then I just kept stabbing at it, and then God has granted me things. And I'm going to point to like 3 stories, which was 1, Moses, 2, Gideon, and 3, Peter. First, Moses, when God spoke to him, he denied God 5 times. God is literally speaking to him directly. Like, there's not many people who have had that experience on earth. And Moses said, "No, not me, Lord. No, not me, Lord. No, not me, Lord. No, not me, Lord. No, not me, Lord." But Moses still went, and obviously Moses is like one of the greatest prophets. So like the point is, if you ever feel like you're not enough, still try, or still at least try to talk about it, or like don't think you're not enough, because you are. It takes a decision. It takes an exercise of the will that God has given us. Then the second person Gus talked about last week, Gideon. Like Gideon was like from the lowest tribe, right? Like he's like a nobody, right? And even when God chose him, he was like, "I'm not good enough, Lord. Are you sure about this? Are you sure of me?" And then he asked for like these wild signs twice. But then God stuck with him, and then God used him in amazing ways. And then the third person, Peter. Peter literally, he was with Jesus for all 3 years of his ministry. And yet he denied God 3 times, right after he had gone through everything with Jesus. Like, if there's anything that you've done where you felt like, how did I do that after living through this? I mean, just look to Peter, and he did that. Especially after saying to Jesus, straight to the face, who's literally the Son of God, he said, "I won't do it," and then he did it. He forgot that quickly, which is a lesson to us. We can forget things so quickly. But the point is, afterwards, after he denied Jesus 3 times, he didn't just give up. He didn't like run away from Jesus like, "Oh, I'm not good enough anymore." He went back to Jesus, and then he affirmed Jesus 3 times. The point of the story is that he came back to Jesus even after he failed 3 times. He affirmed Jesus after he failed 3 times, which means that like no matter what you go through, no matter like what kind of sin you're dealing with, you can always come back to Jesus, and he will forgive you. He just wants you to come back and not just cower in shame, because he doesn't want you to be in shame. So yeah.
praying that like maybe God would intervene and tell me, no, you don't need to share tonight. But then my Apple Watch said that your heart rate was too high and that you might need to calm down. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be reading a few verses out of Psalm 73, Psalm 73, just because this chapter of Psalms I've been like obsessed with, and it's been so good the past few months. But first, I want to start off with a quote from C.H. Spurgeon. And it says, "Strange that the saints should sigh and the singers sing, and the sinners sing." And I don't think I've ever related to something so much before. Just because, dang it, I was not supposed to be the first one to cry. He's so for real, okay. So a few years ago, on October 1st of 2020, I got into a super small car accident, and I hit a deer with my car. And for some reason, this was just enough to essentially break my brain. And I don't use that term lightly or anything. Eventually what happened was I found out I had obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. And it has basically felt like it controlled my life for at least 3 years. And I get up here to tell you this because every single day I'm reminded that I'm not healed. And to be someone who proclaims God's goodness and love, it's so hard. To be woken up every day and reminded I'm still not healed. And that's not just a mental thing. It's even worse when it's physical. And with OCD, I have another disorder called trichotillomania, which causes you to pull your hair out. And so I get up here to say all this because I hate comparison. And with OCD, it's known as the doubt disorder. And I always want to know why. And so I'm getting up here to tell you all that I have this weird disorder that I hate and that really makes me sad and insecure. And I don't know why I have it. And for 3 years, I begged God to tell me why. And my reasoning always left me in the dark. Trying to find a reason to my suffering always left me in the dark. And Psalm 73 is wrote by Asaph, and he says, "But when I thought of how to understand this, it seemed to me a wearisome task until I went into the sanctuary of God. Then I discerned their end." And I wish I could go back and tell myself 3 years ago that you will waste so much time looking for a reason why. And that sometimes I don't need to know a reason. I don't need to have the clarity. I don't need to know the answer to love God and to love others well. And it feels so good to have a place to call home where I do walk in here and I'm not reminded that I'm not healed. I walk in here and I immediately feel loved, and that the insecurities that I face from this disorder just really don't exist. So I thank you all for dealing with me, and if you think I'm ugly when I cry, well, God created me. I just thank you all for giving not only me, but just so many more people a place to call home, but also a place to know that even if we're not healed on this side of heaven, one day we will be. And I'm so glad to just roam this earth with you all.
Howdy, y'all. So I was going to share something from my perspective because I'm a little bit of a nerd. So everything that's come up right now, I can't really relate to because I can't come up with, I don't have that same motivational, spiritual story. But as a nerd, maybe this might resonate with you a little bit more. So I know, as a grad student talking to a lot of undergrads, what's the biggest thing we're talking about right now? Finals and grades, right? I think everyone can kind of resonate with that. I had a list of things I was going to say. I was going to start off with a quick question. So why did you become a Hokie real quickly? For a lot of you, it might be football, it might be because of parents or alumni, it might be because of school, or you just didn't know. That's totally fine either way. But the reason I ask you this is I got the opportunity to ask a bunch of alumni in my advisory board. I was like, what's the best thing about being a Hokie? Maybe the football, the spirit of, being a Hokie with your friends, studying late nights for finals and whatnot. But you know what the one thing they never said was grades or like what defined me as a student, you know, like my overall like GPA and whatnot. I think a lot of students struggle with that. I mean, I did last year. So one thing, like looking back now, is like what makes you a Hokie? It might be the relationships with your friends. It might be because, you know, maybe CCVT, Mike, Morgan, and Brandon, or it might just be, you know, just whatever opportunities you have where the Lord can love you. The one thing I always say is, I know I get in trouble because my advisor says not to tell this to undergrads, is school really doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Like, you, but in all sincerity, I mean, unless you're going for a PhD and you're trying to go into a national lab and that's what you're going to be doing your entire life is being a lab rat. Sure, absolutely. But for a lot of you, that's probably not the case. So I really do want to emphasize like the relationships. The one thing that I really regret as an undergrad is not taking the intentional steps of meeting other people, getting to know other people. So I think you all have a great opportunity to do that. Like looking around, like I've had two great people actually, Ben right here, who's, I mean, gone really far in his studies, my roommate Kevin, or Coach K. The one thing that I really see that they do is they take the intentional steps of getting to know you as a person. So something that I really want to emphasize is get to know someone first as a person, as a brother and sister in Christ, before a student, because end all, I mean, grades do not define you as a person. I mean, I think your faith does. So I hope that encourages you all.
I'm gonna switch it up for the next 5 minutes, and I want to sing a song with two of my favorite musicians, because God's been really speaking to me through like this one song that my closest friend brought back to memory that I heard when I was like 5, and then she played it for me, and I was like, holy crap, like I know that song, right? So yeah, we're just gonna sing, I guess. My nerves are rocking. So yeah, I've learned a lot of importance about prayer this semester because I've been dealing with a lot of health problems, if you know. Oh, I'm Annalise, by the way, if you don't know who I am. Are we connected? Okay. My nerves are racked up, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Just like aggressively nod at me.
Okay. Start him, and then like headbang.
Headbang. Let's go.
We pray for blessings. We pray for peace. Comfort for family. Protection while we sleep. We pray for healing. For prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering, and all the while you hear each spoken need. You love us way too much to give us less things. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? And what if truths of this life are
doubt your goodness. We doubt your love. As if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, and long that we have faith to believe. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if the thousand sleepless nights, what it takes to know you're near? And what if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? And if friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, the pain reminds us heart, this is not our home. 'Cause what if blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? If my greatest disappointments or the aching of this life is the revealing of a greater thirst this world can't satisfy. And what if trials of this life, the rain, the storms, the hardest nights, are your mercies in disguise? So I rehearsed that a lot better than I sang, but that was emotional for me personally just because of the lyrics, man. Like, sometimes you don't feel like God's answering your prayers, but He's giving you so many blessings that you don't know. Like, clearly, everyone in this room is a blessing to my life and has taught me so many things. So thank you for inspiring me to even just be up here and feel like I can cry in front of you and it's okay. Thank you. So, yeah.
I'm gonna stay up here too. If you don't know, I'm Jack. I play music. I do little singy songy sometimes up here. They're pretty fun. But I just wanted to give some motivation, more towards some of the freshmen that are here, because I know when coming to college, coming to a big university like Virginia Tech, it's intimidating, terrifying, stressful, all of the above. And just I want you to know that God has a plan for you here. He brought you here for a reason. He brought you to this room for a reason, to build this community, to be here with everybody. And I wanted to give a verse and a song that I think kind of goes with the verse. The verse is John chapter 12, verses 44 through 46. And that says, "Then Jesus cried out, 'Whoever believes in me does not believe in me only, but in the one who sent me. The one who looks at me is seeing the one who sent me. I have come into this world as a light so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness.'" I don't want anybody to be in that darkness either. So, hope it's cool if I do a little singy song. And it probably comes to a surprise to absolutely nobody that knows me, but it's a Jimmy Buffett song. It's one that was released posthumously. It's called Bubbles Up, and it's basically just following the bubbles to the surface, knowing that you are safe, and as long as you follow the bubbles to the light, you're home. It'll take you home. So. world starts reeling from that pressure dropped feeling. We're just treading water each day. There's a way to feel better, be well set to weather the storms till the sun shines again. When your compass is spinning and you're lost on the way, like a leaf in the wind, hear me when I say, bubbles up, they will point you towards home. No matter how deep or how far you roam, they will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know that you are loved. There is light up above, and joy is always enough. Bubbles up. To my friends who are jolly when melancholy knocks, sometimes they let her in to sit and share stories of flops and of glories. It ain't half as bad as the bends. Sometimes living is a struggle, multiplied double, but they love it too much for the journey to end. Let's go. Bubbles up, they will point you towards home. No matter how deep or how far you roam. Woo! They will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, there is light up. Yeah. The joy is always enough. Bubbles up. So let's pop a cork to the rough and the right, to the bright blazing days and the sweet starry night. Bubbles up, they will point us towards home. No matter how deep or how far we roam, they will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know that you are loved. There is light up above. Joy is always enough. Bubbles up. Bubbles up. Thank you guys. Please know in this place, in this home, you are all loved. You can talk to any one of us, and we are here for you. We are a family. There's always room at the table, and I want each and every one of you to know that going into next semester. So, thank you.
Hopefully I don't break anything. So, hi, I'm Drew. Thanks. I'm the guy who goes to Radford.
Yeah, Radford!
So, that,
Go Highlanders!
Yeah, that underrated school, 30 minutes away.
I like the Virginia Tech shirt.
Thank you. So, pretty much, like I said, go Radford. I hope I didn't break anything. Sorry, Jack. So pretty much, to get to everything and stop joking, pretty much this semester has been interesting, to say the least. For some of you who know, I won't go into that much detail, but this semester has been tough, to say the least, because this is my senior year. I'm actually finished my semester. Radford gets off a week before you guys do. Just hey, I had to brag somehow. Hey. But this, especially this semester, hit hard because this is the first semester I actually live. Yes, I do still live in a dorm, even as a senior. I know that's weird, but I live in a dorm room by myself. Where the reason why is because my roommates, first one, not the best, not very clean. Second one, during my junior year, he's better, but still wanted to live by myself. In which, like I said, now I do. In which this semester sort of, even though I wanted it, was sort of not what I expected. And to go into a little backstory, around this time last year, I did something interesting, which I never do. It's one of those word for the year type of situation, in which I was absolutely not expecting to do it, because I'm not that type of person. But this time around last year, just the word deep came up, in which I sort of was like, okay, that might be interesting. Sort of ironic with some video games I played, because the word deep came up. But I was like, okay. I sort of interpreted going deeper with people that I know, especially you guys, which I did. Just meeting with people, being deeper in all the relationships. But at the same time, with being alone in a dorm room by myself, most of the time, leaves a lot of room to me in my head. Which, as a social work major, and as a guy who's been through a ton of stuff, sort of is hard. And which leads to the bad side of the word dark, sadly. So, in which I face, and sort of still do to an extent, still face it at the same time. So, and if I seem like I'm going like a lot of ums and all that, I absolutely had no idea I was coming up here. So, please forgive me on that. So, pretty much, as a social work major, going into an internship where I will be helping people next semester for my last one, pretty much showed me a saying, and a verse, the saying being, even helpers need help. Like, even the doctors, the therapists, the people who you expect are really freaking tough, and the nurses, still need help, and they're still human. So, even though people like therapists, doctors, nurses, and people like that seem like they're the freaking toughest people and most knowledgeable people you know, still go through stuff like you do. In which, that's where this comes in, community comes in, and just having people around you for knowing that you'll be okay, and knowing that you have people around you to help you. Like, multiple times, I think I've talked to Morgan, like, about the stuff that I've been going through, and other people in here about what I've been going through. So, always understand that you're not alone, in which I'm still learning at the same time. So, just always know you have a community here. Always have people. You always have someone here to talk to. If it's someone that might be in the back, someone up here in the front row, just always know that you have someone here. In which, something that sort of helped me to go back to the verse that sort of helped me through this season and sort of still helping me through it, is in which actually my therapist pointed out to me, is Philippians 4, verse 8, which says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." And verse 9 says, "Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." So pretty much, just be around people. Just go in that confidence that you know what's right, know what's true, know what's peaceful. Right, noble, true, and pure, and lovely. And just go out in whatever you do. And just know that you have a family and a community here. Know that everything's going to be okay, no matter what the stress is. So, yeah, that's all that I have.
All the people in my little row went, and I have FOMO, so I had to go too. My name is Seferina Olivo. I'm a senior. I co-lead a Bible study on Wednesday night. It's pretty cool. Get my flattering side. And I usually don't talk at Take 5 nights because I always like to listen to other people. And it is my 7th Take 5 night. So I only have one more left, so I gotta talk at some point. But if you know me, I like to tromp in the woods. And I am often in the woods with really old wise men that teach me really old wise stuff. And on Tuesdays for 3 hours, I go in the woods with this man called Dr. Ost, and we essentially just muck around in these wetlands. And whenever we're doing that, he will say some stuff that will essentially just blow our minds. And so what he has said for the past semester that has stuck with me is saying that in our careers and in our jobs, we can't let perfect stand in the way of good. And he will just like spit bars from the back 40, y'all. He will just say that stuff and then keep going. And so that has just like really resonated with me this semester of like not letting perfect stand in the way of good. Because I'm not a perfectionist, but also I am. And so if I'm going to do something, I want it to be perfect. And so I haven't talked at a lot of Take 5s, or I know Take 5s, if we're being honest, because I didn't feel like I had anything perfect or well-rounded or anything with a bow to share. And there was nothing of worth to take 5 minutes of your day to share, and nothing was essentially wrapped in a bow and ready to present because I was either in something and I didn't know what the ending was, or I couldn't fit it all into 3 nice points and go through it. And I have just thought about not letting perfect stand in the way of good, because it just is a destroyer of joy. And setting the standard for yourself to be perfect and to have everything exactly as it needs to be sets you up for being miserable and for being so unsatisfied with everything you produce. And I just want to invite you guys to not let perfect stand in the way of good, especially during finals week, but also especially during Take 5, when maybe you're in something and it's not wrapped in a bow, or you don't know how to say it yet, or you don't know how to share it yet. That it's a place where you can just be good and not perfect. And it's something that I'm still struggling with because I am a perfectionist, but it's something that I have like carried with me on my day-to-days, trying to at least be good. So yeah, that was what I had to say.
I got this picture.
Okay. Am I allowed to? No, okay. Sorry. I just don't want to feel like I'm standing on top of Katie. Hello. Stop. You're so much. I'm Kaylee Tyler, and I'm a senior. and I actually didn't write anything, and I don't really know why I'm standing up here, but I just wanted to say to you guys that it has been a joy to walk alongside each of you in different capacities this semester, and just seeing you guys walk through the door in whatever form that is has been beautiful and hard, but necessary. And I think that this has been the weirdest Take 5, because this is I don't know, the one where I was like, no, like I'm not gonna get up. I'm gonna let the Holy Spirit lead, and boy did he. But I think as a senior, it is incredible to look and see who's inheriting the ministry that is the one that we're going to leave behind. The seniors are going to leave behind. And I think about when I came in as a freshman, and just like, I don't know, like we were only allowed to have like 10 people in this room and house, and we broke those rules a couple times, more than a couple times. But I think it's just so cool to see how like tonight it's full, and I love every single one of you. And I don't know like what brought you into the house tonight, or if you come every Thursday night, or if you come to some, or whatever that looks like. But I think that it's been really cool to see this community grow for me and for you guys. And I think about like what Amanda said, and just knowing that you can show up like any way that you are has been really, really cool for me to see like other people do, but also like encouraging me to do. And sometimes I'm in a bad mood. Sometimes I don't want to be here, but I show up anyway. And I think that is part of like what you do when things are hard. Is, I don't know, no one always wants to be in one place, but if that place sees you well, that's where you should be all the time. And so yeah, I don't know, I'm just rambling, but I love you guys a lot, and I'm sure I'll have better words next semester, or maybe slightly more cheerful, but we'll save it.
Take her with you. Take her with you. I've been waiting for this all night.
For her sake, I won't. I didn't know if I was going to speak or not today. I've been asked a couple times. I'm said, we'll see. I don't know. But I mostly just wanted to say that every single thing y'all have said has like hit me like right in the chest, and like I already started crying a couple times. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that, like, this is probably, like, I just want to share my struggle. I don't have any answers. Like you were saying, nothing's like wrapped up with a bow, and I kind of wanted to come up here with some kind of encouragement, and I kind of wish I did, but like I don't have that for myself yet. So this has probably been like the hardest semester I've ever had here at Tech. I transferred in last year, so even though I'm a senior, I feel like I'm going through like freshman or sophomore problems with like coming back and like not sure where I am with like relationships, or like still trying to make new friends. And because I feel like I'm older than everybody else, I feel like I should have it like wrapped with a bow, and I should like understand this stuff by now. And I'm going back to all these insecurities I used to have in high school, and the comparison game, and disqualifying myself, and 1,000,001 other things that I struggle with every day. And especially like this week, like I bawled my eyes out today in the Pamplin bathroom for like 10 minutes. I like went out of like the review session, composed myself, set up my laptop, set up my stuff, went to the bathroom, and then just cried for like 10 minutes. Just because everything has been totally blown out of proportion in my brain, like 24/7. And I don't know if like, I guess I'm up here to like say that like if you're struggling with any of this, like you're not alone. And everybody who spoke today, like when they say, come talk to me about it, I want to hear your story, they 100% mean it. Like from the deep depths of their hearts. And I don't know if I could help if you're struggling with anything I'm struggling with, but come talk to me. Maybe you can help me, because I don't know. Because I don't know what to do. At least pray for me. Like, send a prayer, at least. But that's really all I had to say. I thought I was going to cry, and I didn't. I feel this calm, so I guess Jesus is like, good job, Alex. So I get rewarded for that. bottling capacity of a shot glass. So like, this is a blessing that I'm not crying right now. But I love y'all so much. And that's all I really have to say. So.
Hi guys, I'm Ella, if you don't know me. But I don't know, I came up here, I wasn't planning on saying anything today because I didn't even realize that it was Take 5 night, I forgot about that. But I guess what I wanted to say is like kind of what I've been going through this semester a little bit, because last summer, as some of you know, I did an internship in New York, and it felt like I lived a completely different life for 3 months, and then coming back from that was really, really isolating for me. So like, coming back, reconnecting with CCBT, my old friends like from, Virginia Tech, who I've known for years now, it was so weird for some reason. And I don't know, for a little while I withdrew because of that. I felt like, it was like a, feedback loop of me, feeling isolated and then not wanting to go see people and then feeling even more isolated. And I guess, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, you kind of just have to keep showing up. That was what ended up helping me, because I fell into some really unhealthy coping mechanisms for a while that have since stopped. But I don't know, just coming back to CCBT and going in women's retreat, that was honestly such a turning point for me. And just reconnecting with all the girls in here, it was so great. But yeah, just keep showing up, let people love you. Basically what everyone else has been saying this whole time, just we're all here for each other, and that's what matters. So, yeah, thank you.
Dude, this onesie is hot. I just wanted to share a couple of like my favorite verses that have really spoke to me this year. The first off, I've loved this verse for like a long time. Well, it's technically 3 verses. John 15:18 through 20. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. But as it is, you do not belong to the world, because I have chosen you out of it. That is why the world hates you. Remember what I've told you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. But if they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also. So, I don't know if you know this, I'm like an engineering major, but I also was trying to get a minor in religion because I thought it'd be like fun and I would learn more. But in a lot of those classes, you see a lot of mocking and people just outright, hating Christians because of, the way they've been treated by other Christians, or, there's a lot of different reasons people hate us. But, the Bible says that that's going to happen. Jesus has said that we will be hated. But what's crazy is that the Bible also says these are the people we need to go out. We need to we need to preach to them. These are the people we need to save. And it's hard because when you're out there and you're seeing you don't want to go talk to the person that hates you for who you are, You don't want to go out and preach to them. And I had a friend, well, my best friend for these past couple of years, he is an atheist. And, I had just been really scared to, talk to him about it, because I didn't want to lose him as a friend. And so this is where the second verse comes in. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, one man shall sharpen another. And ever since being here, that verse has really spoke to me because I didn't hang out with a lot of Christians. I had Camden and Jesse and Guy, but I wasn't as close to them before I came here. And I come here every day I'm just surrounded by all of these faithful believers, and it makes you feel powerful. Being with all of y'all, it just makes me want to be a better person. And it gave me the confidence to go out and evangelize to him. And, he didn't take it very well, but I would have never, if you don't give that message out to him, where is he going to hear it from? you can always plant that seed and hope that it grows into something. So I just wanted to say, thank y'all for being there for me, because being around y'all just makes me feel like such a better Christian and better man and person. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm a barber in the area, if you don't know that. So I actually came up here with nothing to say, unfortunately, but kind of fortunate. So I found God again this year. Crazy enough. Didn't think that would happen. I grew up in the church my entire life. Did stuff outside the church my entire life. You guys have brought me closer to God, so thank you guys. And yeah, I found Mike through Belmont. He really helped me, and we talk like once a week, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, God's just really in this building tonight, and he loves all of you guys very much, if you didn't know that. But yeah, that's all I really had to say, and I hope you guys have a great night.
I don't want just because I stood up doesn't mean you can't come up here if you still you can take me off the stage. You just have to tackle me. If anybody. Yeah. She's like, I can't move. But anybody else? Okay. Yeah.
No, you should stand with me.
I'll just stand with you.
Yeah,
I would love to. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Corinne.
My name is Corinne. Hey, buddy. I love what you talked about. I like that you want to help people. Anyway, sorry. Side thought. So I think that one of the sins that I struggle with most is hating myself. Because I feel like that's one of the worst as well. Because like a lot of you guys said, God created us in His image. So if we're hating something He created, then why? That's obviously not what we should do. Something that I feel like stops me, I know that you had mentioned it, Seth, just about perfectionism. Sometimes I feel like in order to show up, I have to be perfect, or not even a way of my appearance or what I have going on, but just mentally. I never feel like I'm, things are going good. Now I can go present myself to people, or now I can show up to things. And I actually didn't, this is so sad to me, but I didn't know that other people struggled with that showing up thing. Obviously, but I went out to lunch with Morgan today, and she asked me about life, and I was like, yeah, I can't show up. Something inside of me, it just, it sucks. It's such a hard feeling, especially when, you want certain things and feel like showing up is the hardest part. Even when you get there, you feel amazing. And that's how I feel when I'm here. I actually have a little post-it note next to my bed, and it says just show up, and on my little whiteboard too. And I really didn't I don't know. I appreciate hearing that from you guys. And Amanda, when you came up here and mentioned it, I remember the first CCVT event that I did. I walked up to the yard, and for name of God, I cannot remember your dog's name. Camper, duh. Camper was at the porch, and it made me so happy. And I decided to go on the hike, and Alice you made me feel, or not Alex, I'm sorry. Alex, you made me feel like I was at home so much, and although it's been hard for me to show back up, I just feel like I deserve to show back up, to give that community to myself. I was talking to my mom before I came, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should go tonight. I kind of need a night in. I want to take a good shower, full shower, the 40-minute shower, do my nails, take a nap, watch a movie. And then she was like, well, Corinne, do what is serving, do what you need right now, and what can help you right now. And I do something for yourself. And I was like, well, I think going is doing something for myself. So thanks for just everyone sharing their stories. That felt really good. And I feel so loved in this house tonight. So yeah. Thank you, man.
time that we do this, one of us walks up here at the end and it's just like, wow, God is just good. And I think one of the major things that you'll learn about this place is you can show up as you are, and you don't have to get things right. And we are not perfect. You know it the first time you walk in this place, that we are not perfect, we are not polished, we are not, I mean, look around the room. We are not, but this place is good. And this place is good. It's not perfect. And if you're looking for a perfect place with perfect people, you're probably going to get real mad here, because this is not going to be a perfect place, but this place is good. And we will commit to loving one another and caring for one another. And everything that you guys said, I know that God has used to impact someone in some way tonight. And, you know, maybe you didn't get the chance to share tonight. And, you know, hey, it's okay. A car alarm's going off. It's not a big deal. You know, so it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's Charlie. Yep. There we go. Bye, Charlie. Yeah. You can tell because it's the Toyota one. Okay. I'm just kidding, people. But we are just so thankful that you would be willing to share. And if someone said, like, struck you tonight, go and talk to them. Like, encourage them. Tell them thank you. Maybe have a conversation or set up something to get together during exam week or like after you guys get back. Because that's important. And maybe if you didn't get a chance to share tonight, share what you were going to share with somebody. It'd be cool if you guys just said, hey, you can stay here as long as you want. And if you guys just talk to someone about what you wanted to share, or maybe it's someone you want to encourage. And I heard over and over again, like, a couple different people mentioned, you know, Brandon's name and Morgan's name and my name. And that's really encouraging and beautiful. But the reason this place has any impact to love people the way Jesus loves us is because of you guys. It is all you guys. You guys are the ones that God uses to have an impact on each other and to love one another and to show up for one another and to care for one another. Keep doing that. Because there wouldn't be as many stories told up here if it wasn't for each and every one of you in this place saying, I'm going to love this person and care for this person. And so keep doing that. Keep showing up, even in your brokenness. And we're going to love one another. And that's what we're going to keep doing. And that's the kind of people that we're going to be. And so hopefully you know that and understand that and feel that and sense that tonight through what was said up here. And so, yeah, thank you guys. Me, Brandon, and Morgan should be thanking you over and over again for the love that you show to one another and how God uses that. It's so beautiful. And we are constantly amazed by each of you and love you very, very much. And so there's no easy transition into this, but I do have to say I got very excited when Alex started to move because I thought Alex and Aaron were going to come up together. And I couldn't stop thinking the whole time. Right. Like, if one of them spoke, like the other one would have to come with her because they're in a sweater together. And I was really sad when you took the sweater off. Yeah, it would have been awesome. You'd just been drinking a ginger ale the whole time. A ginger ale.
I already finished.
Yeah, you already got one. So we do have a lot of gifts to give you and a lot of things to hand you and a couple things to tell you. We know it's the end of the semester and you have some studying to do for exams and papers to write. But we got a bunch of stuff that we want to give you and a couple things we want to announce. And we got to find out who the winner was from tonight. But we'll try to do this quickly. But we also have one celebratory announcement. But we're going to get to that in just a second because, you know, Morgan's going to go. I'm going to make announcements real quick while we're doing that. real quick, we have over, like during exam week, this is what we do. We want to bless you guys as students. We want to care for you and your friends. And this is a way to actually show love to your friends. And you really don't have to do anything except look at them and say, do you want Starbucks? Do you want soup? Do you want cookies? So tomorrow, real quick, tomorrow from 10 to 2, you guys can, we'll post it all over social media and all that kind of stuff. But from 10 to 2 tomorrow, you can text me, Morgan, or Brandon, and we will, your order, whatever you want and whatever your friends want, and we will deliver to you Starbucks, anything you want. And so this is something that we want to encourage you. This is not just for you. This is for your friends. This is for your roommates. This is for your suite mates. This is for your floor. And we've delivered lots of drinks to you and your friends over the years. And here's the thing. Please don't do this. Don't say, oh, well, it's just like, oh, I don't want to be a burden. And like, oh, that would be, gosh, they're going to deliver to a lot of people. And I'm not going to text them because I can get my own Starbucks. That's stupid. Okay? Let us love you. Just text us. We'll take care of it for you. We'll deliver it. You know, and we love the baristas at Mill Mountain so much. If you want Mill Mountain, we'll go there. Anybody working tomorrow? Oh, no. What? We're not going to Mill. Yep, screw that. Going to Starbucks. Woo. But then Sunday, 1 o'clock here. All you got to do is show up. You grab a spoon and a bowl. And there's going to be 3 or 4 homemade soups here for you guys. So that's for you and your friends as well. And then on Monday, me and Brandon and some others are going to be delivering homemade cookies. These are not Oreos and Chips Ahoy. These are homemade from scratch cookies. This isn't even the tube that you buy at the store. This is like stirring, you know, made with our hands. Flour and sugar. It's going to be great. All right. Anything else? Oh, we're still going on the Grundy Mountain Mission trip. If you want to go to that, come and talk to me tonight. And it's 3 days at a mission school, and we help to get them ready for Christmas and just serve there and get to hang out with a bunch of kids, and it's just awesome. And so talk to me tonight if you want to go. Pancakes with Gus and Ella and whoever else does it. No? Okay. 11 o'clock, right? 11? 11. 11. Here. Also, the Bible reading plan, you heard Gus talk about that. You can join that if you want to. That'll be awesome. And is there anything else? Also, with Mountain Mission School, if you can't go and you want to donate $50 or more to go to getting presents for kids and staff there for Christmas, you can Venmo. We'll put it out on social media. You can Venmo me or CCBT, and we'll make sure that gets in the right place. And yes, if you want to donate to the Kaylee GoFundMe for kids who don't.
Kids in foster care.
Okay. She lives with us. If you want to donate to me and Carrie, to take care of, no. But we do have a celebration that needs to happen. But first, who won? Who won? Do we know?
If you were on staff, what would be your go-to question of the day one?
That's funny.
By
Who
more
did
than
that?
double the vote. Wait, I think like a staff member. Wow.
You win these. Ready?
Oh gosh.
It's gonna go right over. No, you don't need to move. It's fine.
Everyone should.
I told you you didn't need to move.
You did need to move. Good call.
Camden, you would have died. Emma, you were fine.
Tell them about our other exciting celebration tonight.
Oh, we have a
before
celebration
dismiss.
tonight. There's a beautiful, beautiful CCBT student that is graduating in December. She always brings a smile and a dog
every time
to this place, and she is shaking her head in the
You don't
office.
have to. You don't
right
have to
now.
come to the front if you don't want
but
to.
her name is Kendall, Downing, and she's in the office back there, and she's graduating in December. Yay! And so we have a gift for you and a card, and so that's beautiful. Hey, that's gonna be awesome. Also, hey, Gus and Kaylee, would you do me a favor? You're gonna go back to the office with Drew and Jack Slaughter, and you guys are gonna grab the boxes of gift bags, and you're gonna go out on the porch, and as people are leaving, you're gonna give them to them. Okay, real quick, one thing that happened as well, it is Christmas, and a church here called Belmont Christian Church wanted to put together bags of just goodie bags of snacks and candy and gum and all sorts of wonderful little treasures for you guys and your friends. And so when you leave, we want you to grab one or two of those bags. Grab a couple, maybe one for you and one for a roommate or one for a person on your floor. You know, we've done this before where we've given out cookies that people did. And, you know, one time, Caleb Kite, when he was a freshman, him and a couple guys gave a bag of cookies to a person in the shower. Correct? Is that true? Yeah, that is true. And so now Caleb is a senior. You can take a couple bags for you. You can share with your friends. But those are for you. We want all those to go away because they're for students. And so take a couple of those bags on your way out. We love you guys. Morgan, anything else?
Merry Christmas. If there's anything we can do for you guys as you tackle finals, we believe in you. We're praying for you, like fervently these next couple of days. You guys got it, and we love you lots.
And this house is open all exam week, so you can come here and study. You can come here and cry in the office. We'll hug you. I don't know. You don't have to cry. You can come and celebrate and do backflips when you're done. I don't know.
Unhinged energy this next
Yeah,
week.
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
If you come in, you get to see Brandon in his natural habitat, unhinged. It's amazing. And so it's really beautiful. Hey, we love you guys.
You can hang out or head out. Love
Hey,
you.
make sure you pass out those bags on the way out. Grab a couple.